Hi, everyone. My name is Keyanna Deveraux, and I am the Education Associate Apprentice at FreeState Justice. Today is the first episode of Trans Table Talk. And today, on this episode called Mother May I, we have the wonderful community leader and mother of a community, Miss Melissa Deveraux.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, so we're going to hop right into the juicy topics. So, when this community, well, can you explain to the people what being a mother of the community is?
Absolutely. First of all, let me give a small disclaimer. In case you hear any whining or anything in the background, I just got a new puppy and he is still adjusting and he is very temperamental. So that might be the noise that you'll hear. You hear him rattling in the background. But so, I ain't gonna tell my age, but I've been a mother in the community for about 13 years now, going on 14. It's not a position that I take lightly. It's not a position I think that anyone should take likely when they step into that role. Being a mother is essentially stepping in to fill the maternal figure's role in children's lives that don't necessarily have that family support. A lot of LGBTQ youth do not have support from their family. Sometimes they're ostracized. Sometimes they are thrown out at an early age. And then that's where people like me come in. Lord, I got a football team of kids.
That was going to be my next question. I was ready to ask, how many kids do you have?
Okay, so rolling over into the next question. So I currently have 16 living children. In 2021, I lost 3 of my children back to back within a 30-day span. Being a mother is not easy because you are not only taking care of your children's physical well-being, but their mental. And a lot of times, you don't always get that break to catch your breath and say, hold on, I need a second, because your kids are also there and they need you. So you got to learn how to compartmentalize and things when you become a parent.
So with that being said, do you see yourself having any more kids?
So I could never say what the heart holds. I could never say what the heart holds, but I can tell you what my children have said. My children have told me that if I bring home another child, they're going to kick me and that baby down the stairs. So, out of fear of my own well-being, then I think not. I think that the baby factory is closed unless it's like an actual biological child. One thing I don't do though is my chosen kids, i.e. gay families, those are my babies. I would never differentiate them between any biological child that if I ever do have, that I would have, because at the end of the day, they are all my children and they will be raised as siblings.
So all in all, knowing how many kids you got and how many lives you influenced and how many souls you have sheltered, what is being a mother to you, and do you feel your parenting is effective?
Whew. I like to think that I touch souls more than just being a mother. Sometimes it's being a sister. Sometimes it is, being an auntie, a cousin, like a grands. Um, it's been times where, living in a one bedroom apartment, I've had, you know, 15 people staying with me because they didn't have anywhere to go. They didn't have family. They were out in the streets. And, somehow we made it work. Um, as far as my children, I always like to think that I instill every virtue that I have in myself and my children. Um, I try to teach them to lead with love and light, um, as I try to do, because leading with negativity and hatred and malice gets you nowhere. Um, everything that you do in this world comes back tenfold. And I'm a living testimony of it. I have helped people when I was down on my luck, when I was unemployed, living check to check on a weekly basis on unemployment insurance, wondering how I was going to maintain my rent. Utilities got cut off, but God always made a way. So that's why I always I pour into my children and I preach to them, whether they take it or not, is that you lead from love and light. And I get that sometimes things be so frustrating, and I get that the world is so nasty and dirty and mean out here. But to affect change, you have to be the change that you seek.
So, okay. What are some of your proud moments as a mother with your kids? And then after your proud moments, what is one of the most funniest moments you have with your kids?
Um, so I think one of my proudest moments is well first off, backtracking for a second. I've worked in community for 13 years. I've been an activist and an advocate in community for 13 years. I have worked in the nonprofit realm for LGBTQ issues for 13 years. And to see that multiple, not just one or two, but multiple ones of my children are in this, like following my footsteps. Like I have Keyanna, I have Legacy, I have Denzel, and a couple others that are actually doing the work. And it makes me proud because when you do the work, like you have to have a calling to do the work. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's not about the money. It's not about, just doing this to do it. Because at the end of the day, if you don't feel as though you have a calling and this is something that you love to do, then you're not going to succeed in the work. Because this ain't for the weak. It's not for the faint of heart. You will be triggered and re-traumatized day in and day out doing this work. But the end goal, to see some of these clients' faces when they get apartments, when they've been homeless for years, to have a youth that was diagnosed with HIV run up and bring you their labs and say that they didn't reach undetectable status, to have a client come to you and give every bit of, I just got a job, and when every other place had been rejecting them because of their background. It's something awe-inspiring about that. Um, Now, some, a funny moment with my kids. Oh dear God. There are so many. Like, my kids used to jump each other, like, and it was so crazy. Like, I mean, like, they just started fighting out of nowhere. Of course, I mean, it was like play fighting, but it was just like we could all be like watching TV or something. Next thing you know, like one person diving on another, they like squaring up and all this stuff. I'm just like, child, these kids. Then like, you know, sometimes like at functions, watching the kids battle each other and talk this shit to each other. And then we just so many emotions well up for me. Love my babies.
So, as a Black woman of trans experience,
Mhm.
and a mother of trans experience, what do you feel like are some of the struggles that you faced then that you don't have to face now with identifying as a trans Black mother?
I don't know, honestly, because luckily enough, and I hate to say this, I really, really hate to say this. Luckily enough, society has this thing when it comes down to trans people where you're either passable or you're not passable. And I have been one of the lucky ones that I am passable. I can go in society and, you know, live my life as a woman, live as stuff if I choose to.
Can you elaborate on passable and non-passable to the newer generation that's here? Because sometimes people don't understand what passable and non-passable are.
Absolutely. So being passable, it basically means that you look enough like a woman or like a man for our trans masculine brothers that you're not questioned or you don't have people snickering behind your back. You can walk into any clothing department store and go to the women's dressing room or go to the women's restroom without worrying about some type of backlash. Um, and of course, being not passable is the opposite. Um, and that plays a part in, I would say, motherhood. Um, I have kids whose school, teachers, counselors, everything call me. I haven't been on college campuses signing paperwork for my kids. I had to roll up to the job a couple times. Like it's it's a gift and a curse. Um, the reason why I say it's a gift is because it allows you to move through a little bit easier. But then it's a curse because then it's like, you got a person, little shorty that like you or something, and they want to talk to you, and then it's like you are, child, here we go.
So,
because then you gotta break them teeth. You gotta be like, look, I know I'm cute, I'm cute, but I need you to know. I need to let you know, listen, because I'm very upfront and honest and open at the beginning because I don't want no misconceptions. I don't want anybody saying that, oh, I tried to trick them or I tried to deceive them. So, that's the only part that I think that is the curse of kind of like being passed.
What do you have to say to the new mothers leading the new generation, i.e., your daughters and your nieces and your sisters?
Don't be in a rush to become a mother. Don't, oftentimes they think it's so sad and they just want to feel like, oh, well, bitch, I got kids. But you gotta understand that, like, having kids is a job, mamas. You dealing with their physical, emotional, and mental well-being for the rest of their life. It don't stop once they hit a certain age. There's gonna be a lot of shit that your kids do that you don't like, Lord knows. But you still gotta be impartial. You still gotta be a mama. Now, I'm gonna digress for a second. Excuse my language. I raise my kids as siblings. All that.
So,
I'm very strategic in how I raise my kids as siblings because at the end of the day, I know I have kids that have emotional problems. I have children that have mental health problems. I have children that have, certain physical disabilities. And I know that, God forbid, if something was to happen to me today or tomorrow, all of my kids are going to need each other. And they don't understand that. And I think that it comes with, wisdom comes with growth and maturity. And eventually they'll understand what I say when I say, if something happens to me today or tomorrow, y'all gonna have to lean on each other because y'all gonna be the only ones that y'all got. Because that's how I branch this family together.
So you feel like it's easy. Okay, so you have trans daughters.
Mm-hmm.
You have butch queen daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to explain to everyone what a butch queen is?
So a butch queen is a gay man. While he can be masculine, there are some that are effeminate. They are typically
so that's where the decipher of butch queen son and butch queen daughter comes into.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Listen.
So,
I will say this. I already had a large amount of kids, but I think that when I lost my 3 in 2021, I overcompensated a little bit. Because I was trying to heal. Doesn't cause me to love them any differently, but I definitely know that when I lost Michi, CJ, and Josie, it definitely left me with a void that I tried to fill.
So, to close up the first episode of Trans Table Talk, what would you tell your younger self as a mother? And I'm really intrigued. And the reason why I'm intrigued is because you have so much love to outpour from yourself, and you have so much genuineness, and you have so much feeling and emotion to give everybody. And that usually comes from a hurt person, a person that's been hurt before. So, what do you have to tell yourself, your younger self, to get through those dark times?
Self-care. Make self-care prominent and first. One thing that I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting over the past couple of months. I had to place some distance between myself and everyone for a while because I was, reevaluating things. One thing that I used to do in the past was I would pour and I would pour and I would pour until my cup was empty, and then I would still try to continue to pour from an empty cup. And I no longer do that. For me now, it is, I will pour from the overflow of my cup. It is no longer me pouring from my cup, but from what overflows from my cup. That is what I will
make
pour
sure
into.
that your cup is full enough for you, because you cannot operate at a zero level cup.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for the first ever episode of Trans Table Talk and the first guest appearance from a mother of the community and a mother that's close to my heart. Mother May I, Melissa Deveraux. Would you like to drop your ad name?
Yes, y'all can follow me on Facebook, Mally Deveraux, Instagram, Honey Dripping Mail. If y'all are on Bigo, I'll be on there too sometimes at Honey D the host. Just a parting word, operate from love and light. If you feel as though you can't operate from love and light, then just don't do it. Make sure that you have a good day. And if you can't, don't go ruining anybody else's, because at the end of the day, our energies are important. And make sure that stay away from energy vampires. And also, don't let yourself become an energy vampire.
And check out FreeState Justice's website at freestatejustice.org. Thank you so much for tuning into the first episode of Trans Table Talks, Mother May I.